A new poll of U.S. Latino voters finds 41% trust Donald Trump on immigration compared to 38% for President Biden. The poll was released last week by the Equus Company and was taken before the president announced his latest immigration initiatives. Our next guest knows a lot about immigration. He is an American immigrant. His family escaped communism in Vietnam after the war there. He's now the vice president of Expeditors, a Fortune 500 company. Hung Cao is a U.S. Navy combat veteran, a U.S. Senate candidate for Virginia, and the author of the book, Call Me an American. Hung, it's a pleasure. I'm sure a lot of Virginians would like to call you Senator Cao. So after the economy, immigration is shaping up to be a top issue on the minds of voters. You're from an immigrant family, so what needs to be done?
Oh, you're absolutely right. Thank you so much for having me on. I came here as a refugee, and this country gave me everything. I mean, I grabbed onto the American dream. I went to the top high school in the country, Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. I went to the United States Naval Academy, where I earned a bachelor's in engineering, and I went to Naval Postgraduate School with a master's in physics, and then I had fellowships at Harvard and MIT. But you know what? I paid back every single dime of that American dream with 25 years of service in Navy Special Operations. I was a Navy deep sea diver who recovered John F. Kennedy Jr., his wife and his sister-in-law, and I also defused bombs for our SEAL teams and Special Forces teams in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Somalia. So my thing to illegal immigrants is this. Don't come to America and ask for the American dream if you're not willing to obey the American laws and embrace the American culture, because I did. I paid back every single dime, and I wrote a blank check to this nation up to and including my life because I love it so much. And that's what it means to be an American to me.
Well, President Biden has issued an executive order protecting spouses of illegal immigrants from deportation. What do you think of that?
There's a legal term, and it doesn't fit here, but I think it's kind of good. It's called fruit of a poison tree. Basically it's when police officers get evidence from sources that are not legal, and so everything from that is illegal. Well, I think that term kind of fits in this situation too. You can't get something legal out of an illegal act. So fruit of a poison tree, I think, would kind of work in this situation where, if you came here illegally and then you do something legal, everything after you did that was illegal should be deemed illegal.
Well, let's move on the issue of protecting the vote. There are allegations of election fraud right here in Virginia, in Lynchburg, ballot mishandling, an unlocked drop box. And then in Louisiana, they recently passed a law that requires proof of citizenship when registering to vote. What do you think of those developments and the requirements to show an ID before voting?
Well, in Afghanistan and Iraq, you know how we secured the vote? You have this finger that you dip into this paint and it lasts over a week. And that's how we secured a vote in those countries. And so that's a third world country, and we're able to do that. And people staying in line for hours, even believing that they might get killed, by an IED or something like that, because they believe so much in our their rights to vote. And over here, less than half the American populace are willing to vote, which is a tragedy. I mean, Arlington National Cemetery is lined up full of brave men and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice for us to vote. And so I encourage everybody to go out and vote. And of course, there's always going to be some abnormalities here and there. And the issue is that Virginia has, I think, one of the most secure things, because you actually have to fill out a hand ballot first, then it gets scanned in. Now, the way I believe we should do it is, for me to fly on a plane right now, we need Clear ID. And Virginia driver's licenses are all going to Clear ID. And that's a federally, funded issue, funded program. If I can overlay that with E-Verify, now we can see if a person's a citizen or not. And on my driver's license, it says veteran. So I don't see why we can't put a mark on there that says not U.S. citizen, so that it can be clearly seen by the registrars that this person cannot vote.
And late last week, your opponent in the Virginia race, Senator Tim Kaine, reintroduced Medicare ex-choice legislation, which would expand Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. So what do you think of universal health care?
It's one of those issues where it's a very tough subject in the United States, but Medicare for all is Medicare for none, right? I mean, there's a lot of senior citizens that paid into this, Medicare and everything else, and it's basically going to be defunct in a few years. And if we if we give it to everyone, including illegal immigrants, which is what they're doing right now, you're basically going to say that no one's going to get it. And so we need to work through this situation. But doing a blanket, hey, let's give this to everybody, is not going to work for anybody.
And tell me about your latest campaign ad. It features the knock at the door. And there are many Americans who get what you're talking about. Some escape communist oppression. Others worry about it happening more frequently right here in the USA. So why did you focus on that when many Virginians are just getting by, living paycheck to paycheck?
Well, again, you're right. We're paying $1 billion a day for illegal immigrants. And are we saying that we're running out of people to help in America, that we can just give our money away to illegal immigrants? I mean, that's just ludicrous. We need to take care of Americans first. And Americans are worried about the border and everything that's happening here, where people can just knock on your door and take you away. I mean, look what's happening to President Trump, right? I mean, they're throwing all sorts of indictments to him, and including from Jack Smith, who, remember, this is the guy that was responsible for Governor McDonnell getting indicted, and then the Supreme Court of the United States overturned it unanimously. So it shows you what a charlatan Jack Smith is. But again, Americans are worried about all these issues. They're worried about the crime and the drugs that are coming to their streets from the illegal immigrants. They're worried about the economy. Honestly, are you saying that everything's okay? I mean, for us to believe that the same people that got us into this mess are going to get us out is ridiculous.
Okay, we'll see what happens here. Hung Cao, U.S. combat veteran, candidate for the U.S. Senate from Virginia, author of the book, Call Me an American. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.